Howdy everyone. Today I'd love to just talk about the future, both the future of Neorg and also the future of this channel. I'd love to discuss where we currently are in the Neorg ecosystem, so to speak, and also where we're headed, and also what sort of content you can expect from me going forward. But let's start off with Neorg. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe, we released the 7.0 version, which was a pretty big release, for me at least. It refactored a lot of the internals. It added Luarocks annotations to the codebase, which makes developing for the codebase much easier. A lot of breaking changes were internal, so users didn't have to update much. It wasn't a breaking change for users, more so than it was for developers. But with 7.0, we marked a sort of change in the way Neorg is going to work. And this is the most important thing that I would like to address in this video. Neorg is going to be changing, and it's going to be changing quite a lot. So I'd love to prepare everybody for this change and explain also why we are initiating this change in the first place. And it all mostly boils down to GTD. GTD is easily the most hyped system that will enter Neorg. For those who don't know, GTD is an entire system that allows you to create tasks, projects, link these projects to individual people. It allows you to do time tracking and agendas, as well as weekly reviews of which tasks you've done. It's basically a massive productivity suite for the people that don't really need the note-taking aspect of Neorg as much as they need the time tracking and project management part of Neorg. Implementing such a big system like GTD required a lot of things. First of all, it required a ton of planning. However, the planning phase has been long done. Like, we've planned essentially everything out. Everything is, at least on paper, perfect. It is a very good frictionless system, and that's also why people are so excited for it, because they resonate with the PDFs that we've released, you know, the design documents and so on. However, the implementation is posing quite a few interesting problems, and these are problems that we basically need to address, otherwise Neorg cannot continue expanding further. Now, to understand why, let's understand my kind of perspective on this, right? As the main developer of such a massive project, imagine you spend all of this time making a file format and then only making it exclusive to NeoVim. It's quite a stupid decision, isn't it? You spend all this time creating a format that is better, both subjectively and objectively, depending on who you ask, but you spend all this time making a file format that's better, and then you create a plugin that is only for NeoVim. And ever since I started the project, I knew that this is not a direction I'd love to go in. You know, I don't want to make Neorg only specific to NeoVim. I'd love to make it feel like it belongs in NeoVim, but I would love for Neorg to expand its horizons, to also be accessible elsewhere, both through web applications, in Emacs, in Helix. I'd love for Neorg to be more of a framework than a single application for a single editor. Now, as you can imagine, achieving this is no easy feat, and making a system that is cross-platform is also difficult. That's why throughout the last 3 or 4 months, maybe, I've been developing Norgopolis. Norgopolis, by the way, apart from the cool name, is essentially the core of Neorg, but stripped down to its bare components and made accessible to everybody. So Norgopolis is an application that can run either somewhere on a server, or it can run locally on your machine. It's a very lightweight binary, and it gives any application that wants to emulate Neorg's behavior access to a single central database of information. These are your notes, these are like things like link resolutions and also tasks. The whole of GTD is implemented within Norgopolis, not within NeoVim, which is quite funny. That's why it's been taking us so long, because we've been trying to make a system that is truly cross-platform and can be accessed from any editor. So now, instead of having one single application called Neorg, which is your NeoVim plugin, what Neorg is slowly shifting towards is something that I call a Neorg-like application. It is simply a front end for the actual Neorg backend, which does all of the heavy lifting, right? It does the actual thinking. It's the thing that links your notes together. It's the thing that enumerates and parses your notes for you. And it's also the thing that stores your tasks for GTD and different calendars and so on. So as you can imagine, this is a massive paradigm shift, because currently the Neorg plugin for NeoVim does everything, but now Norgopolis does everything. So we need to refactor the entirety of Neorg to use Norgopolis instead. And this poses an interesting problem because it requires us to go beyond what NeoVim can currently offer in terms of plugin management. Currently, we use stuff like Lazy and Packer, but Lazy and Packer only clone the repository that you're interested in, right? They only clone Neorg and that's it. Neorg is soon going to need much more advanced things. It's going to require dependencies. It's going to require build scripts. These are not things that the user should have to specify in their own configurations. We need a system that is much more rigorous and much more complex. And this is where Luarocks comes into play. I will be making a separate video on Luarocks, but Luarocks is a package manager for Lua, something like Cargo for Rust, right? It's the thing that manages build scripts, dependencies, versioning, and all of that. And we need Luarocks. Literally, Neorg relies on Luarocks. And because of that, many people in the Neorocks organization, including me, have been really heavily pushing Luarocks as the de facto standard for managing our plugins within NeoVim. Not only does it make the user experience easier, it is also critical for Neorg to continue functioning in the future, which is a massive bet that I'm taking. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I can't really do anything else. Pretty soon, I'll be releasing a bunch of different notices, both on the Discord server and also on GitHub, stating that Neorg 8.0 is going to be an absolutely massive breaking change for everybody. It is going to be a breaking change for the better. Norgopolis enables some things that have never been even thought of for a NeoVim plugin. But in order to actually do that, we need everybody on board. We need all hands on board, on deck, and ready to brace for the impact of this breaking change and welcome it. Once Neorg 8.0 releases, there will be many guides on GitHub, on YouTube, how to migrate your existing configuration to this new Luarocks config. If you're already on Lazy, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to install a different plugin called Luarocks. I believe it's just called luarocks.envim. You're going to have to use that to install Neorg instead. You can still use Lazy just fine, but for Neorg specifically, you're going to have to use the luarocks.envim plugin. So yeah, Neorg 8.0 is going to be an absolutely massive change, both for me and for everybody. I just hope that the community kind of understands why this change is happening. Norgopolis allows multi-threaded operations. It allows passing many different files off thread. It also allows the whole GTD system to exist in the first place. The future is bright. It is very bright. It might not end up being as apocalyptic as I imagine it in my head. So to recap, Neorg is very much changing. Neorg 8.0 is going to give us a massive breaking change that is going to require anybody on lazy.envim to install a new plugin in order to continue using Neorg. Sounds good? So now that we have the scary stuff out of the way, let's talk about the less scary stuff, which is the future of this channel. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'd love to continue uploading YouTube videos. The main focus of this channel going forward is going to be NeoVim and also organization. I've been reading a lot about different organization techniques and also how I and different people that I know approach organization. I'd say I'm pretty well versed in how people's brains work when it comes to frictionless organizational tools, or at least I have quite a lot of experience using many different tools myself. And so I'd love to make content that is related to NeoVim, it's related to Neorg, of course, but there might also be separate content that is going to be, for example, how to organize your life better, right? It's not going to be specifically about Neorg, it's just going to be, hey, here's how you can take your existing methods and make them a little bit better. Additionally, I'd love to create content that sometimes just is completely different than what I do on this channel. It's not going to be a regular thing. However, every now and again, you might see a video that's completely unrelated to the topics on this channel. The first place I ever appeared with the Viro handle is in the TAS videos community. I've actually been a tool assisted speedrunner for the game Super Robin Hood for quite a while. I've managed to lower the record several times. I'd love to also create videos about that, how that record exists, how it works. I feel like if you enjoy technical things, you're going to enjoy the content that I put out, no matter what topic it's about, because I really like getting into the details of things and I love explaining how all of the technicalities come together to make something really beautiful. So expect a lot of videos in the future. I am going to continue the Understanding-neovim series for now. I'd love to finish that. I'd love to get the LSP video released for as many people as possible because I know you guys are waiting for that. I'll try to create a video on Luarocks and why this whole transition is happening and the technical details behind that. I'd also love to explain the tool assisted speedruns that you see on my channel, the first 4 videos I ever published. I'd love to also explain those and why they're there. So as I say, the future is very exciting. There is a lot of change coming up, so I hope you guys understand that yet again. The community is everything, and if the community welcomes the changes, then everything's going to be perfectly smooth sailing. But you know, it's never that easy. Some people really don't like change and they don't like changing anything about their configs, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Hope this video didn't make you scared for the future or anything, even though we are going to be changing a lot, even though I might be changing up my content every now and again. I will not forget about my roots here, so I hope I didn't dissuade you in this video. More so, I hope that I made you excited for the future prospects that I have in plan and in place. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!